Asking the question on everyone's mind these days, what do you think about the Batman?
Baby Scott, but the Vetcher, everybody. It's your boy Jason, the Black and Rapper! Batman, the Caped Crusader. Well, what did you think of it? I definitely think Caped Crusader did not strike the same way that X-Men 97 did. X-Men 97 kind of reinvented the series, not only a series, but it reinvented and reinvigorated Marvel as a whole. We all know that superhero movies are pretty much a saturated market right now. There's really nothing new under the sun, but X-Men 97, they kind of brought, brand new life into it. So I'll be honest, when I saw the trailer for Batman, the Caped Crusader, I was feeling the same kind of vibes that I felt with the X-Men 97 series. And I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I'll tell you some of the things that I really liked. Number one is Bruce Timm and his crew. I mean, the same team that was behind the animated series from the 90s, and of course the Justice League Unlimited, all of those, Batman Beyond. Bruce Timm, the man, is back. And it's so good to see that because, we haven't stopped seeing Batman in animated series or animated films. I mean, since the end of Justice League Unlimited, we've seen several other, people take a crack at the Batman formula. Just to name a few, of course, there was The Batman, which was pretty good for a lot of people. It wasn't really my thing. There was Batman, the Brave and the Bold, Beware the Batman, and of course, all of the Batman animated films that came out that you could probably see on the Max app right now. So Batman hasn't gone anywhere. Batman's in animated stuff all the time. That hasn't stopped. In fact, honestly, the last time I saw Bruce Timm work on a Batman project was Batman and Harley Quinn, which was an animated film more so than a series, but I love that movie. That movie was freaking awesome. But here he is back in an actual animated series, and this is kind of like bring back all the vibes that we've had with the animated series growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. This is great. So of course, seeing Bruce Timm back in an animated Batman series is definitely one of the things that I would give it a point to. Now, of course, if you're expecting this to be a continuation of the animated series, you're going to be disappointed because right off of the jump from the trailer, it shows you that the Caped Crusader is not a continuation. It's a reimagining, and it takes place in a totally different time period. And we're talking about the 1930s where, there's gangsters, and all that stuff. There's curtains for your Rocky. I mean, this is that time period, and it's obvious because you can see it in Batman's design. He's got the accentuated pointy ears. He's got the gloves that only go down to his wrists. I mean, this is the Batman from the 1930s through and through. Yes, it's got that same Art Deco style that the animated series had, but whereas the animated series had that as more of a throwback to the 1930s, this one, Caped Crusader, fully embraces the time period and the art style. Okay, so Batman's in the 1930s. We're not in modern times anymore. So where does that leave us? Well, that leaves us with the opportunity to reimagine all of these characters, Batman's rogues gallery, the side characters, in a brand new way that's completely detached from what we're used to. And of course, they do that. Which is why you can't be upset if the characters that you've known and loved for many years are completely reimagined. It's supposed to be that way. So if you go into this with that expectation, that shouldn't disappoint you, and it doesn't with me. Where I am disappointed is in some of the choices that they made just doesn't really feel right. Before I get into the cons, I will say this, another point in their favor is the actor that they got to play Batman is so good in my opinion. Doug Walker thought that he was a little too goofy, and I can definitely see his point. It is an acquired taste in the first couple episodes. In the first couple episodes, I honestly did laugh a few times, and I thought to myself, I shouldn't be laughing at Batman. He's not someone that you're supposed to laugh at. You can laugh at anyone else, but not Batman. I adore the fact that, to me at least, he sounds a lot like Kevin Conroy. He has that same tonality to him, and he really draws from the original animated series where, he's got this particular voice as Batman and this particular voice as Bruce Wayne. But they go a step further. This is where it throws you off, and then you have to decide for yourself, okay, is this too silly or does this make incredible sense? I'm definitely for the latter. It did make me laugh a few times in the beginning, but the more I listened to it, the more I understood it, and I had this aha moment that, oh wow, this is genius. I'm gonna mention Doug Walker again. One of the things that he mentioned was that this version of Batman did sound to him like a combination of Kevin Conroy and Robert Pattinson from the live-action Batman movie. And to that, I have to say I do agree with that, because with Robert Pattinson in The Batman, that movie, he has this thing where Bruce Wayne itself is more of a mask and Batman is the real character. Now, they were playing with that back in the Christopher Nolan days with the, Dark Knight series, and they fully embraced that in The Batman. I mean, in Batman, it was the first time that when you saw Bruce Wayne, you weren't really looking at a separate identity. I mean, he was the Dark Knight through and through, and only put on the persona of Bruce Wayne when he had to disguise himself. That was a brilliant concept, and they actually extend that in the Caped Crusader. What do I mean by that? Well, take a look at the scenes of Bruce Wayne when he's in front of Alfred Pennyworth. When it's just Bruce Wayne and Alfred Pennyworth, he still has that gruffy Batman voice, even though he's Bruce Wayne. In pretty much every other version of Batman that you saw, whenever he was not wearing the cape and cowl, he had a separate voice to be Bruce Wayne. It was sort of like it was his normal self. But nope, not here. The only time that you hear Bruce Wayne be Bruce Wayne in his voice was when he had to. When he was around people who didn't know that he was Batman. When he was putting on the disguise, the facade, that's when you heard his voice. And I liked also that even when he puts on that voice, he sounds like Kevin Conroy. But it is funny when you hear him alone with Alfred and he doesn't have the costume on and he still sounds like this. But once I got it, I thought that was brilliant, because it shows for sure that he is more comfortable just being Batman. He is Batman. He's not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is just the mask. Alright, so some of the things that I just didn't like about this, and there was a few, but it didn't stop me from enjoying it. I'm gonna start with the most ludicrous part of it. Two-Face had his face on the wrong side. I'm familiar with Two-Face having the scarred up side on his left side, right? Because to me, it was like the right-hand side was the right side of justice, and then the left side represented the corruption. Take with that what you will. Subliminal meanings, whatever. But that's how I always interpreted it. And that's how it's been for pretty much all of the versions of Two-Face that I've seen. And I also like that they really took from Aaron Eckhart's interpretation of Two-Face from the Dark Knight movie. They really lean into that. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there was several moments where it seemed like they were pulling from the pages of the Dark Knight movie. Still, this time around, the scars are on the right side of him and the normal side was on the left. I'm sorry, I don't like Harley Quinn in this one. I get that it's a complete reimagining, and kudos to them for, really separating her from Joker, but I don't know, I can't get behind that. Yes, she's a psychologist like she was in the original series. And it'll land for several people, but for me, it just didn't land. I'm so used to the more ditzy version of Harley Quinn. She was somewhat bubbly. She was bubbly when she was, Harleen Quinzel, but, she wasn't fully embracing that. I didn't really see what I had expected. You see, Harleen Quinzel was a normal psychiatrist until she met the Joker, and then she fully embraced her insanity. Here, she's just bubbly, she's bubbly and fun to an extent, but she also, is super serious when she was a psychologist, and definitely deeply serious when she was Harley Quinn. I like that she was creepy, but not even in the fun creepy. It was just creepy. And to me, that wasn't Harley Quinn. So it may have landed with some people, may have landed with you, but definitely not with me. There's also people that said that they didn't like Catwoman in this, and I gotta say, I really liked Catwoman in this. I thought Catwoman was one of the high points of the show here. She's got the original 1930s outfit, the very first one that she had in the comics. And they had a few throwbacks, like the wrapping around her leg, which is taken straight from the first appearance of Catwoman when Batman finally caught her. But they went a different route with it, and I thought that was fun. Catwoman has her own car, and that's just like from the comics too. I thought that was great. And I don't think anyone really caught this. I have not heard anyone mention this yet, but they took the theme song of Catwoman from the 1991 Tim Burton Batman Returns. Every time you saw Catwoman, they would play that. And it was like, how is no one mentioning this and thinking this is the most incredible thing ever? I just love that. And I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but they also do something with Robin, and not just Robin, but Robin in general, that I thought was brilliant too. You don't really see what you're expecting to see, but when you catch on to it, it's pretty incredible. I thought it was just creative. That's all it was, really. So it seems like I'm saying a lot of good things about this show. Does it really come out a winner, or does it disappoint in general? Well, it seems as though this is just season 1, and hopefully they're going to continue with a few more seasons. So season 1 is usually a season where you try to find your place. You try, testing certain things, see what works, and see what doesn't work, and then you go from there. I think that this show definitely is deserving of another season or so, but does this as one season stand up to something like X-Men 97? X-Men 97 blew people's minds out of the water. Seriously, it redefined the superhero genre, as I mentioned before. Does Batman the Caped Crusader do the same thing? I think Batman the Caped Crusader does a lot of things right by bringing back Bruce Timm and his crew and trying some new things so that it's different. X-Men 97 relied on a lot of things that we were nostalgic about, whereas Batman the Caped Crusader took some of that nostalgia but went a different route by trying more things differently. And kudos to them for having the courage to do so. There's one thing that I really didn't like, and it was the fact that Batman took a few shots at Alfred Pennyworth. I mean, there was some moments where he was just flat out rude, yelling at him. Even as a kid, there's a flashback scene where, Bruce Wayne was really being just dumb and being completely rude towards Alfred, and then he yells at him as an adult. I get it. Again, if we're comparing this to the Batman with Robert Pattinson does the same thing, but I didn't like that either. Now you can chalk it up to the idea that the Caped Crusader is supposed to be kind of like year 1 Batman, where Batman is just finding his footing. He's brand new to the scene. In fact, they kind of mentioned it where they didn't even know that the Batman was real, and then just finding out. So it's definitely early on in his career. So of course, Batman's prone to make some mistakes, and he makes a lot of them here. But I just think that even with, Batman's anger and his desire for vengeance, I don't think that he would treat Alfred that way. That just doesn't work in the live action movie or the animated series. It's something that shouldn't even be there. And to be fair, there's a moment where Alfred Pennyworth does get hurt, and the Batman just, he gets really taken aback and tells Alfred, "I can't do this without you." Out of fear, he says this. And Alfred looks at him and says, "Yes, I know." And I know that Hamish Linklater, the voice of Batman, is dealing with a lot with this role, but there's a few reads where it just doesn't sound genuine enough. There's a few times, in addition to the whole switching between Batman and Bruce thing, that just kind of made me chuckle. He made me chuckle quite a few times in this series, and I really don't think that was intentional. One of the other things I didn't like was making Bullock one of the corrupt cops. I know that there's several corrupt cops in the Batman series, and Flash, who was in Batman Begins, was supposed to be, a reimagining of Harvey Bullock, who was corrupt in the movie, but he's also in this animated series. So they have Flash, and then they also have Bullock, and both of them are corrupt cops. So I didn't get that. I thought it was cool that they put Flash in there, but he's the corrupted cop. They should have made Bullock a corrupt cop as well. All right, so what do I think of Batman the Caped Crusader as a whole? I think it was good. I want to give it maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I definitely think it was a good series, and I want to see more of it. They could definitely do a lot of things better, but it's a good start. All right, so what did you think of Batman the Caped Crusader? Did you think it was awesome, or did you think it stunk? Let me know in the comment section below, and of course, click that thumbs up. Let me know if you like this video, if you'd like to see more Batman-related videos, or, superhero-related videos in general. I'd like to know. And also hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be updated when I post new videos. I'll see you guys next time. It's Jason. Sublime Rapper. Much love. God bless. And as always, peace.